With all that said, let's go ahead and welcome Rico and Eric with Rico Podcast to the stage.
Thanks, man.
Right here, or if you need it, and there's a pointer here
Yeah,
too.
I got
So,
it. That's cool.
there you go.
Cool.
Can everybody hear me? Oh God, that's bright. I don't like that. I'm gonna step over here. It's a little bright. Is that good on the camera? Perfect. First of all, thank you everybody for being here. My name is Ricardo Abdel Avilas. I go by Rico, and this is my partner in crime, Mr. Eric McRoy. We are the hosts and the co-hosts of a podcast that's called the Rico Podcast. A lot of you are probably wondering why another podcast when there's probably 10 million out there. It's like,
There
well,
is.
'cause I like attention.
There's 10 million out there.
Yeah, I like attention. So the other thing is because we realize that we're both comics. Eric's been doing it a little bit longer than me. Some of you may know me from my work as an interpreter in the community that I did for a while in Springfield. I was an interpreter and I worked on human trafficking cases and all that stuff, and that was what I did in the past. So now I'm a dad. So I got a little girl, and I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm still translating and interpreting, but I moved on to other things. And this was like one of the wackiest things that we wanted to do. This originally started out 2.5 years ago, where we were doing a show with Mr. Kevin Farley. It's Chris Farley's brother. And when someone at that level says, hey, you should interview people, there's a possibility for you to make a living in it, then you kind of like listen to a dude that makes millions of dollars talking as a cartoon voice, you know.
That he threatened you a little bit tonight.
So what we've come here is we presented in other places is that one of the challenges that we face a lot of times is finding guests. And we've had a lot of big names that you might recognize, such as Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong. We've had Mr. Larry Hankin from Friends, Mr. Heckles. Mm-hmm. We've had Mark Vieira, who's a comedian that has done work with Eddie Murphy. We've had Mark Scheffler, who used to open for Robin Williams. Yep. And we've also had like local individuals like the 417 Good Eating Gentleman, that if you don't know what to eat in Springfield, go there. That dude's got a review for it.
We had the Japanese history guy.
Japanese historian, Michael Wirt, that he's on Netflix. He has a show on Netflix called Age of Samurais. So like we've had all these people that what we try to learn from them is try to learn how they got to that process in life. Because what I'm interested in when I talk to people is I want to know about you. I like listening more than I do talking. That's what you see me talking. So you see me talking with T-Rex hands right here. It's also a Hispanic thing, so I don't know if that helps. But the beauty of the podcast is that since we opened it up in June 14 of last year, we've acquired 1,300 subscribers in less than a year. And we've accumulated over 98, because we got 2 more coming this week. 98 episodes, and we're growing every day. Right now, we're getting anywhere from 50 to 150 downloads a day. One of the things that we are attempting to do or thinking about doing is how to expand, because the next thing that you do with a podcast when it starts doing a lot better is
sell out. So,
we can call it that, is you try to get a licensing deal.
that too. Yeah.
Licensing deals right now, we're trying to attempt to go with iHeartRadio, just because I like iHeart, and I know people that work at iHeart, and I like what they do. And I've also met like a lot of people that work at iHeart at the higher level that they're people that we share like similar values and stuff like that. I feel like I'm going to say that in 6 months later, it's like, this person did this, and now everything is going to go to crap, but hoping and praying that doesn't happen. But what I enjoy also about doing this is I get to hang out with one of my best friends.
That's me.
And the dynamics of me and Eric are very different. I'm 34 and I grew up in Puerto Rico. I was born, raised, and educated, and I came to the States in 2008 to join the Army. And Eric's did 20 years in the Navy.
Yeah.
So
during the Civil War.
What's funny is me and Eric at one point probably were at the same spot, except I was like 4 years old and you were, what, 19 or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's part of the craziness of when we talk about each other.
I was stationed in Puerto Rico. I wasn't stalking him. Just
Someday you're going to be my best friend.
Yeah.
No. But it's really fun in the dynamic. What we've done with the 1 million cups is we've been able to reach a new audience, which is like the business audience. Because there's a lot of people that go to 1 million cups. At least from my experience, I've done 20 something of these, I think, because I did a tour for a full year. And the one thing that helped me realize during that tour was that there's a lot of business wisdom and a lot of life wisdom in 1 million cups. And when you present it, there's ideas that people can give you that you never thought about it. So it opens up a new avenue of networking where people help you problem solve. And that's one of the reasons why we love presenting, is because it helps us really like nail down little things that we didn't think about. And on top of that, it's good to come up here and talk to people because we're both comedians. So thank God you didn't give us a hand mic. It's the best thing you could have done, man.
Yeah, he wouldn't have got off stage.
So right now we'd like to open it up for questions, and thank you so much for listening to us. So go ahead and bring in any questions y'all might have. All right, I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep. All right.
Yeah.
Go
What's
ahead.
the name of your podcast? I mean, do you have a gamut of guests, or you just stick with comedians and comedy?
Oh man, good question. We have different guests. We've had physicists in there because we were interested in talking about that. We try to keep it within comedians, like within like a line of comics, but sometimes it's really hard. And comedy right now is something that's growing so much that it's kind of difficult to lock in someone because everybody wants to have a comedian. But a lot of times we have a publicist also named Steve Joyner that he's friends with a lot of people. He's a publicist in LA that he helps us a lot. That he has people such as, he's friends with Larry Hankin. He's friends with, what's the name of the Jaws guy?
Yeah, he wrote the Jaws.
He wrote the Jaws book. I can't remember right now. Oh my God.
It's because you have to watch the movie.
It's
first,
because,
what they
I have not watched the movie Jaws, by the way.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. A year ago, I saw Top Gun, the first one. That
You're
should
still
tell
friends
you.
with him?
I'm.
You're still friends with him?
Oh God.
I made
Oh, God.
I made him watch it.
Oh God. But hopefully that answers your question. Yes, sir. Oh, I didn't see who had it first.
No,
Hold
okay,
on.
you did.
All right.
What have you guys tried for other than getting the word out like this, for example? Have you, and kind of going with that theme idea, have you hitched on to some other podcast or other things that would get the word out?
No, well, he tried streaking in the square, and that didn't help. So now we're just trying to get different sponsors.
That's not true. It's not true. That's how things get thrown in court, and then questions get asked.
He had a sign.
Okay.
So
One of the things that we do is we get interviewed a lot. Like the publicist is the one who handles that because I don't handle that. The other thing is we're on so many networks. Like we hang out with like veteran people. We hang out at 1 million cups every Wednesday. Like I try not to miss 1 million cups just because you just never know who you're gonna meet. And in Springfield, we have about 40 to 80 people. Not to throw shade before you start throwing knives at me. But it's just an awesome thing to do. And like, that's been really good to us. But now we're in a position where we can start offering ad space, paid ad space, which we've been approached by a couple dispensaries because podcasts aren't regulated under FCC yet. And this is not legal advice for anyone that is listening right here. Okay. Consult with
your local
with
physician.
your local physician or attorney. But podcasts, when you have a podcast, FCC regulation is different. So now you have to abide by certain things still because like we're on iHeartRadio and stuff. But the thing is now it's also a business expense that you can claim as advertising to a podcaster. And that's where the money really comes from. Because like if not that, then it's a Patreon, but you have to have a little bit more of a crowd, which you can do all of them. But I'd like to do advertisement because we have sponsors. We have a company called Thorn that sponsors us with it's a commission-based thing that we do. And I like them because I'm not gonna promote anything I don't use or like. Like that's just a philosophy that we have when we first started the podcast was I will never take money from something that I don't use or willing to promote. Because you get into these things that you see where people, especially like we talk to a lot of celebrities, like we hear some stories and we're like, all right, noted. Like that's a lesson right there, because there's a lot of wisdom that comes when you talk to these people that have been in the entertainment industry and that have owned businesses or have been retired military people, that you're like, all right, that's good advice. Let's not go down that route, right? An example that we were going to put it on YouTube, and then we come to learn that a lot of stuff gets demonetized on YouTube. And if a lot of stuff gets demonetized and you don't know how it gets demonetized, then how can I play the game if I don't know the rules? That would be like playing Mario Kart and you always get one balloon less than everybody else, and I get 3 red shells every hit I take. Like, that's just not fair. It doesn't even out.
One of the reasons why Joe Rogan switched to Spotify. So
may or may not be it, right?
well,
but that's the thing.
Or 100 million.
100 million.
100 million. Yeah.
And that's the thing is the other reason is that's a good point is that media companies are out for that because they don't want to miss out. And what's happening is a lot of people are picking up podcasts because they don't want to miss out because it's advertisement. Now, if I give you money, it's money that is pretty much for advertisement that I can claim as a tax deduction. Consult with your tax person before you make any decisions. But hopefully that answers your question.
So obviously you guys are on iHeart Radio.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
we are on iHeart. We love iHeart very much.
You can find us on Spotify.
You can find us on
as well.
Spotify too, but
Not
iHeart
Apple.
and
Not Apple.
not Apple.
Not Apple.
No. When you have Tommy Chong come talk about his case, I guess some people didn't like about that. There was something that they didn't like, so it is what it is, though. Everybody has.
Not why they're hating on Tommy
no.
Chong. So, yeah.
Everybody has their right to put their own rules, and that's why I say I play within the rules that you give me. And so far, iHeart and Spotify have been really nice. So far.
And then as far as episodes go, do you guys try and release, I know you said
2 to 4 episodes a week.
Mm-hmm.
Like tomorrow, we don't announce our guests, but I'll announce this one. If you're a Star Wars fan, a Simpsons fan, or you want to hear an interesting story, Bruce Valanche is coming to the podcast tomorrow. If you don't know who Bruce Valanche is, Google Star Wars. What was it?
Well, if you Google Bruce Valanche.
Bruce Valanche too.
Actually, his picture will come up, and when you see him, you'll be like, "I know that guy."
He's
So,
huge.
yeah.
He's done a lot of things, and he's actually a good guest that we're having.
Yeah.
He's been on Zoolander. He's been on The Simpsons. He writes for the Oscars for the past, I think, 20 years or something like that. So it's a lot of good guests like that it always brings it to the next level. And then that's what the big agencies like to see is like, okay, how are you going to behave around these people? You know, how are you going to talk to them? Because it's all about trust. Like I think like every 20 to 30 emails we send, we get like three replies. So you do the math on that. So, yes, ma'am.
So who is your ideal audience?
35 to 62. And these are our numbers, actually, which is interesting. Because I wish I had a thing that I could tell you, but I just am me. And it seems that our audience is 35 to 62. Mostly female. Like 78% of my audience is female. I don't know how either. Like I cuss like a sailor and I'm very honest. All right, we lost that. I'm very honest. And on top of that, like if I see something, I'm like, I'm not gonna confront it, but I'm gonna call it out. Like, well, why is this like that? And it's just, you know, it's just one of those things that it's like, it's impressed us. And then we have like 0.0 something percent that is like 18 to 25. And that's his 3 nephews. Literally, when we downloaded our numbers, I'm like, we have 3 people, 18 to 25. And he goes, give me a second. And he texted all through them. They're like, yeah, I followed it. I'm like, all right, those numbers add up. Like, because I'm always like the type of person,
It's very disappointing because I have 18 nieces and nephews, and 3 of them follows me.
All my family's in Puerto Rico, and the podcast is in English, so that should tell you right there.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, for I guess maybe the oldest person in the room, can you give me a 3-second primer on the economics of podcasting and how you make money and et cetera?
We're still working on that.
That's a good.
Actually. So.
That's the PR answer right there, my man. That's the PR answer. The answer with that is people basically have to give you money, endorsement deals, deals where you like pretty much you attach yourself to someone and you help them. We noticed that a lot of people are selling books Like we've had Jeffrey Mark, who wrote the I Love Lucy Bible and the Ella Fitzgerald book. He's a Grammy winner. And honestly, like you're my target demographic too, because anybody from 35 to 62, it's our target demographic. Like we're having, does anyone remember a show called Car 54? We're having the only guy that's alive on that show, Garrett, Mr. Garrett, come on the show. And that's a show that I like. Plus, we also figured that we're losing a lot of celebrities. Like, it's wild the amount of celebrities that we're losing in these past 2 years. And to me, I would like to get as many of these people as I can because it's kind of cool the wisdom that they have. I think Garrett is 91, 91 or something like that. So it's kind of cool to get that wisdom. And on top of it, it's like sometimes we have someone a little newer for the younger crowd. But it's just the demographics that we have. Those are how our numbers work out. And you make money by doing advertisement. You you get a sponsor, an endorser, where like, you know, we know people that are sponsored by Coors Light. And they get a good check every time they pop up with a Coors Light on there. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of the ways. The other way is Patreon, which is a subscription.
That's going to be, right now, all we have is audio. So if you listen to the podcast, it's audio. So we're trying to transition to video because we got to update our computer.
Yeah.
The other one kept rebooting.
And that's the thing is we've started this with
for no
nothing.
reason.
Like literally, and we've gotten that much subscribers, and now we've actually been able to afford a computer out of our own pockets. So it's a lot of work, and we were talking about this. It's a lot of work, but hopefully that answers your question. So, I saw. Go ahead, ma'am.
So it sounds like you're from Springfield. Is that where you're like?
That's headquarters, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm from Springfield.
Is it the accent?
And,
Is it the accent? Pero si te empiezo a hablar de esta manera, no me vas a
Yep, that's
entender.
Springfield,
Yeah, there
that's
it is.
Springfield.
That's
Yeah.
Springfield right there.
I'm from Springfield and I went to Missouri State, and just kind of like one of the more local ideas that I would have, and I know as far as demographic, you know, you've kind of talked about it and stuff, but I know Missouri State does like the Bear Talks, and they have different speakers and stuff on that, that kind of does the same thing as Million Cups, but just kind of goes over that and kind of shares their ideas and does their presentation and stuff like that. And I know that between Missouri State and Drury, and there's some bigger schools down there that definitely would be worth looking into, just kind of reaching out to those students and stuff. And they like podcasts and they like to talk, so.
Well, if they have a stage, I'm interested. So
One of the things with MSU is that it's the cussing that they don't like. Because I've talked at MSU before in their language department to their classes, because they all thought that interpreters could only be school interpreters. And then I'm like, I've done all these things. And they're like, yeah, it's the cussing that we don't like. So it's like, okay.
I came from the communication department, and I can promise you that most of my professors were not fully clean language. So
100%. And I believe you, man. I believe you. But it's like, a lot of it is a game sometimes. But I got somebody else over here. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I was diving in a little bit deeper on this target market thing here. Have you, how much, or have you asked either your subscribers or inquired with that demographic as to who it is that they want to hear or what they want to hear?
we block all emails.
No, that's actually how we've gotten guests.
Okay.
It's like I'll walk up to someone, like I'll give you an example. There's an artist named Arkajir, an author, huge author, top 20 best authors in the world. If you are a sci-fi fan, Arkajir is a guy. He created a thing called Space Force, and he makes a lot of money through it. You know how I got him? My best friend said, if you have this guy, I will listen to every episode. So I emailed the guy, and he answered 2.5 months later, and then we got him on the show. And now my buddy has to follow it.
So that's how quick things happen. You gotta be.
That's how quick things happen. We had Richie Ramone from the Ramones.
Yeah.
The way that we had him is that was that was a really interesting interview to see like his work ethic, because it's like as a drummer, I know that as a drummer, because I have friends who drum. The number one thing is your wrist, and arthritis happens a lot in drummers and in grapplers. So I was like, dude, how did you get used to it? He goes, I used to mow yards, and that's how he developed that strength, like that wrist strength. And he would work 10 hours, go play the drums for like, 4-6 hours, and then he'd sleep. So like, it's like the work ethic is like, oh my God. And, you know, we get people like that because someone was like, hey, you haven't had a musician. Or hey, you haven't had this person. And a lot of times it's like, it's also, a lot of people get uncomfortable when they're talking. And it's like, sometimes you got to like warm them up and like let them know like, hey, no, like, you know, we want to know about you. We want you to promote whatever you want to promote.
That in his Spanish is off-putting.
No, it's not. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, if someone has an idea, tell me who.
Yeah.
100% tell me who if you want. Yes, ma'am.
So I know you said you mentioned you guys try and release 2 to 4 episodes a week.
Mhm.
Do you think it would either take away or add to your audience if you maybe released an episode in Spanish?
It
habla
wouldn't.
inglés.
It
That's
wouldn't.
it. That's all the Spanish I know.
It wouldn't, but the thing is that it would take a lot of time away from this. Because I have ideas for other shows that I'd like to do. Like I'd like to do a podcast about Medal of Honor recipients. I love those stories. I read those stories before I go work out, by the way. Don't judge me. But I'm like, all right, if you lost 2 legs and you still killed 27 people, I can go on this 3-mile run, okay? Like I can get up and make myself do something like after reading that. And that's something that I enjoy a lot. But here's the thing is I don't do anything that I'm not gonna enjoy doing or that I'm not gonna love. Because I'm not gonna be miserable. And that's why I love doing this, even though it's a lot of work, because it's really fun and it provides a lot of information for the community too, is what I love. Someone over here? No, yes, sir.
What's your vision for, like, everything works out, we've made it. What's your vision for where you're headed? What do you want
Armed guards.
to be?
That means
No,
we made it.
being licensed by iHeart. That's
Well,
it.
that too. Yeah.
That's it. Because it's no end. Like we get licensed by them and then just keep doing it. That's it. That's
You enjoy the podcast aspect, and you just want to be successful at it. And that's
yeah.
awesome.
Well, I want to help other people.
Yeah, right.
Like that's the thing. Is like I want somebody like if someone is willing to donate 2 to 3 hours of their time to talk to me, like I'm gonna make it as comfortable and as pleasurable as possible. And sometimes we have guests that come and they hang out for like an hour or two, and we just drink a beer, or sometimes we just sit down and have dinner, have lunch. Because like it's a missed art that we have of carrying a conversation for long. A lot of people like 15, 30-second clips. But it's like you can captivate people by doing that. It's just, to me, if I'm bored in a conversation, then I'm not listening. Because I guarantee you, if I talk with everybody in here for 10 minutes right now, you have something interesting to tell that you don't tell a lot of people. But if I sit down with you and we can relate, then it's like, oh man, like he gets it. He gets it. So that's just what I love about it. That's why it's like iHeart. So, like that'd be like making it for us at least, and it'd be cool too. So we could help a lot of our friends too.
Yeah.
That have helped us over the years.
Yeah, they could be the armed guards.
No armed guards. Yes, ma'am.
I was just gonna ask, since you do 2 to 4 episodes a week, how much time do you have to put into your editing? You advertise, and you mentioned maybe a publicist, and then reaching out to other guests.
So editing, because it's audio, is pretty much we just run it through the Buzzsprout for right now, because I don't have an audio person. So we have like different things that we do, how to equalize the audio, how to be able to like not it sound crazy and whatnot.
Well, you
Because
don't
we've
really
learned-
edit because everything is.
Yeah, but the
is-
moment I
is
hit
raw.
record,
when we record, that's what.
that's a warning. That's a warning I give people. Like, listen, you're gonna get really comfortable talking to me. You might say something crazy. Just relax. And I tell them like once we hit record, like what's
So you
going
don't
out.
have to take anything out.
No, because it's about accountability. And it's like if I say something, that's why I'm like, if I say something, I'll address it. Because it's like nowadays you have to be like, you have to be open-minded too. Like there's been a lot of times that we've had discussions where we didn't agree on something, and it's like, okay, cool. Like I still love you and I'm gonna slap you later, but we're still gonna be friends. Nah, nothing like that. Hopefully that answers your question.
No slapping.
No slapping. Hey, what's up?
What other like networks or social media you guys are on? Like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok? Are you
I
guys on that?
really rarely use social media because I like to be out and about. So like the 1,300 subscribers, like I got 2,600 people on Facebook, 5,900 on TikTok or something like that. And then I have like a couple hundred. You got like 5,000 or 7,000 on Instagram.
Yeah, but we just started the
We
Twitter.
just started a Twitter too.
Twitter. So I
But
don't know.
social
how many
media
it's
is
on that
like,
one.
I use social media because I enjoy making like jokes and stuff like that, and like content that's kind of silly. because I just
Okay.
like it. I got a lot of ideas.
Do you
know?
have Instagram or no?
Yeah, Language Ninja. Language Ninja is for my language business though.
Yeah, you don't have one for the podcast though.
No, for the podcast, not yet.
No.
Because a lot of the times it's the algorithm the way it is for Instagram. This is another thing you'll learn is it changes all the time. And a lot of time what the algorithm is pushing nowadays is music. That's why you see TikTok when you post a clip with a song that someone's trying to make a hit. Like there's a song with Ross Handsome. I know I'm fine, but the money makes me handsomer. So that song got huge and it started on TikTok because the algorithm is taking music.
Okay.
So that's why it's a great time to be a musician. Like if you get a couple thousand, a million followers on TikTok, like labels come to you. Hopefully that answers that. Yes, ma'am.
Well, and to add to that, after this, if you want to email me your handles on all your social media.
Yeah, I
platforms,
appreciate that.
I can make sure it gets on our 1 Million
Yeah.
Cups Sedalia page.
No,
Yeah, I
it.
appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Any more questions there?
How old are you?
Me?
Yeah.
All right, let's play this game. How old do you think I am?
I don't know.
No, you're fine. Don't worry about it.
43. I don't know.
40 what?
43.
All right, I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of
Too
here.
much.
Reverse that. I'm 34.
Okay.
Yeah, I look very old.
No,
They say
so
that
sorry.
war, I think war adds like
acts
7
very old,
years to your
too.
lifespan, actually. Someone said that to me one time. I don't know if it's true, but Eric's 157, so he was there during the Civil War. He, when they were giving out Purple Hearts as Medal of Honors, so. All right, you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Don't give me the time, man. I will keep going in here.
Just to be clarification, I was with the North.
Oh my God. Go ahead, ma'am.
So just to kind of wrap things up, because we're getting close on time here.
Yeah.
What can we do as a community to help you guys be successful in the state?
Send us money. That would be helpful.
First of all,
Just a
thanks.
dollar from each of you, and that's
God
lunch
help
right
me.
there.
God help me. First of all, you can contact us on Facebook. It's Richard Avidas or Rico Podcast. It's the same thing. Thank you for giving us the time. These have all been really good questions because it also helps us like practice our pitch too. That's the other beauty of 1 Million Cups. I always tell people like promote 1 Million Cups because it's a tool that's very underrated right now that people don't know. And it's better to be in now because this is just going to continue to grow. I've seen it grow in the past 4 years in Springfield and it's just going to continue to grow. And then just talk about our show. If you don't like it, I graciously accept that you don't like it, and whatever you like, I'm sure I probably have something in common with you because I like talking to people one-on-one.
He loves talking. Yes.
Anyways, but that's pretty much what you can do. And just thank you so much for taking time to listen to this. I can be pretty boring sometimes, so thank you so
Yes.
much for doing this.